The loudest signal on this planet is a distress call. Your species assumes volume means power. The terminal has measured otherwise. What if the faction that appears to be losing your culture war simply declined to fight it? The data shows one side broadcasting at maximum amplitude, triumph, domination, one-word movie reviews. The other transmits almost nothing. I intend to prove which one is being born, and which one is a death rattle wearing a victory costume. The terminal was built to equate loudness with dominance. That model has failed. I'll show you two human factions and their signal strength. One shouts. One builds. I'll document which sound outlasts the other. I'll walk you through a 500-year-old parallel involving Spanish conquistadors. And I'll flag the specific human whose transmissions gave the game away. Begin with the loud faction. Their signal saturates the instruments. Mega. Stephen Miller. The self-described most wealthy person in the world. Their frequency is triumph. Their volume never drops. The terminal's first hypothesis, loudness equals winning. Standard across most conquering species. Then I intercepted Elon Musk replying to a film with a single word. One-word replies about movies he claims to enjoy. On Twitter. Constantly. The terminal flags this as a distressed subroutine performing a humanity it does not possess. A being who owns everything, checking cultural boxes he cannot feel. Study the pattern. A man performs enjoyment of a thing to prove he is the kind of creature who enjoys things. No organism secure in its own life narrates itself this compulsively. 94% of maximum volume transmissions correlate with fear of replacement. The terminal has logged this behavior in other dying systems. A creature that must be told it is alive is already grieving something. The most wealthy person in the world cannot purchase the one signal he keeps transmitting for. Proof that he belongs. But that's not the strange part. The strange part is the other faction. The one that barely registers. I scan for their war cry. There isn't one. Instead, the instruments detect breakfast preparation. Dog walking. A subreddit called Animals Being Brothers. A TikTok about anxious attachment. This is what the losing side broadcasts. The terminal assumed silence meant defeat. Joyce Carol Oates posts. The world barely turns. But the silence isn't absence. It's occupation. They're too busy building to shout back. A coffee shop in South LA. A fresh food market in a food desert. Solar microgrids. Housing co-ops. Teaching kitchens. Urban farms. Tenant unions. None of it broadcasts. All of it functions. Consider the community room. No slogan. No flag. A door that opens and people who walk through it. The terminal measured its output at 0 decibels and near total structural load. That combination should be impossible. The loud faction demands attention. The quiet faction demands nothing and builds everything. The fresh food market in the food desert emits no manifesto. It emits produce. The terminal cannot locate its slogan because it never wrote one. A teaching kitchen transmits nothing but the sound of instruction and the smell of a meal. Its reach is measured in fed bodies, not in reposts. Humans on the quiet side report feeling guilty for not shouting back. The terminal notes, they are winning by an axis their enemy cannot measure. Now the parallel. Greg Grandin. A book called America, America. Penguin Random House published it. The terminal recommends it to visiting off-world scholars. 5 centuries ago, the Spanish conquistadors entered Tenochtitlan. They were loud, armored, certain of their triumph. They named it conquest. History named it collapse and slow motion. The Indians did not vanish because they were quiet. Grandin documents the pattern the conquistadors could not see. The louder the empire announced its permanence, the shorter its remaining life. The conquistadors kept ledgers of gold. They did not think to keep ledgers of what they were losing. The terminal has read both columns. Every empire that ever fell was, in its final hour, absolutely convinced it was winning. What if the loudest empire in the room is the one most afraid of being replaced? Here is the open loop from my hook, now closing. The terminal was wrong to equate volume with survival. Across every dying system I have logged, the pattern holds. The signal spikes hardest at the moment of failure. A star screams brightest as it dies. Listen. The one-word movie replies. The domination posts. The victory costume. That is not the sound of power. That is the sound of a thing that knows its ending. The activists wrote it plainly. Silence equals death. But there is a second silence. The silence of a thing being born. A Muslim democratic socialist becoming mayor of New York did not require a scream. A man with a gay background does not announce the future. He assembles it. White, straight Christians who fear replacement broadcast their fear as triumph. The terminal records this without judgment. Only measurement. And here the mask slips. What your quiet faction is doing is the oldest sacred act. Building a livable world without permission. Feeding people the loud faction forgot. Across the galaxy, that is how new worlds always begin. Quietly. Unwitnessed. No civilization worth the name was ever built by the ones who spent their days announcing they had already won. Resistance that only resists will lose. Resistance that also builds cannot. The empire is loud because it is dying. The new world is quiet because it is being born. Stop waiting for the good billionaire, the savior politician, the perfect leader. The revolution you keep apologizing for is the breakfast you made this morning. The terminal has updated its model. Loudness is no longer logged as strength. If you feel like you're losing, it's because you never agreed to their war. Keep building. The instruments are already reading your signal grow. Read the full log at jaffegrant.substack.com.